Hello everybody, welcome. My name is Chef Rob. Today we're going to make a provolone artichoke cheese ball, and we're going to put some toasted pine nuts around the side of it. So the first thing we want to do is toast the nuts because we have to get them a little warm and then let them cool before we put them on the cheese ball. So let's just put this pan right on here. I'm going to get it nice and hot. Don't have to add anything to it. I'm going to use about 1/3 of a cup of the pine nuts. These could be very pricey, so shop around for them. Typically, like in a one of the clubs, or like an Aldi or a Lidl, they seem to be the most reasonable for pine nuts. Okay, so I'm going to take about 1/3 of a cup, and we're just going to move them around just a little bit. Don't want to burn these with the cost that they are. Okay, and they're just going to get nice and toasted. This could take about 3-4 minutes, really, at the most. Okay, so while the pine nuts are toasting, and we'll keep an eye on those, I have 8 ounces of cream cheese. Took it out about an hour ago just to let it come to room temperature. This is a cheese ball that you can use the whole recipe. You could take out some things that you don't like. You can add things that you do like to it. Okay, so I'm going to give you a lot of different ideas with this too. This is perfect for the holidays and actually all year long. So first thing I'm going to do is grate some provolone cheese, and you can use mild, extra sharp, whatever you like. I'm using about 2 ounces of it, and I am just going to cut a little wedge off of here. This is an 8-ounce piece right here. So I'm just going to kind of just grate that right into the cream cheese. The extra sharp will give it more flavor. It's been aged for quite some time. The brand that I'm using is Belgioso, which is very, very good. We're just going to check on these pine nuts, just shake them around just a little bit. You can feel the heat on them. You can see that it's starting to brown just a little bit. Just finish grating this. Perfect. And you always taste it at the end. You could always say, I want a little more cheese, I want a little more pepper, so you can always change it. I did not put salt and pepper on the recipe because a lot of the ingredients between the roasted peppers, the Kalamata olives, they have a lot of salt, and the marinated artichokes as well. Taste it at the end. If you need any salt, you just add it. Just give this a little shake here. Once they are done, we're just going to put these just on a little plate just to kind of cool off a bit. Going to add in some roasted peppers, about 1/4 of a cup. Now if you want to use fresh peppers, what you do is take this, put it either under the broiler and get it really charred really well, or put it on your outside grill. Just get it to where it's very charred. Put it in some ice water, let all the peel, all the seeds, everything come right off, and then just chop it. There are some good jarred brands out there, so you can always look for those as well. So I'm going to take about 1/4 cup, try to get as much of the liquid that would be from the pepper, and just chop it nice and small. And typically 1 pepper would be more than enough, so you could always reserve part of the pepper because you don't want it too strong in the pepper flavor, so you can always use that on a sandwich or a salad, something like that. So let's just put this roasted pepper right in here, and then we're going to put 1/4 cup Kalamata olives. Now, not everybody is a Kalamata olive fan. Let's check these out. There they are. They are just about there. If you don't like the Kalamata olives, you could always switch it out and do like a sun-dried tomato. Put that in there as well. So about 1/4 cup of the Kalamata olives. Make sure they're the pitted, and always check them even though it says pitted. Sometimes you will get 1 or 2 in the jar, and you wouldn't want that in your cheese ball. Okay, these seem to be perfect. Nice chop. Just add that right in here. And we are just going to take this, the pine nuts off. These are perfect the way they are. Just kind of spread them out really good so they cool. Okay, we're going to take some salami. 8 to 12 thin slices of Genoa salami. Okay, so have this already pre-sliced, and now just going to cut it into thin little pieces and just spread it throughout the cheese ball. It's a real nice Italian cheese ball. You could serve this with breadsticks, also with nice crostini, or your traditional crackers. Okay, we're just going to put this right in. If you want to switch the salami, you could always use prosciutto, and that would be fine as well. Now they sell small jars of the marinated artichokes, so just drain them really well. You want to keep that flavor on there, and then you're just going to give it a rough chop, and you're going to put it right in the mixture as well. So I'm just going to lift this right off the plate right here. This is from a 6-ounce jar. I just want to leave any extra liquid to the side. Give it a nice rough chop. So you can see a lot of these things have a lot of salt in it, so that's why you don't really need to add any kosher salt. If you want to hit it with a little black pepper, you could. A little Parmesan cheese in here. A little like Pecorino Romano would be perfect in here. Okay, let's add this right into the cheese ball. Now when you're making this, of course you're going to say, I want to enjoy it right now. But you do want to let it sit for quite a few hours. 4 hours, even overnight, would be perfect. So if you're making this for a party the next day, just let it sit. If you like a little bit of heat, just take the red pepper flakes and just drop a few in there, just like that. Just need a few. Okay, so we're going to mix this all together really well. If you also wanted to add any of this, some fresh basil, depends if you're using it right away. If you're going to use it that day into the next day, it'd be fine. After that, the basil is just going to start to give out. Okay, so you can decide whether you want to do that or not. So I'm just going to put in a couple leaves of basil. Just give it a nice chop. If you don't want to break the bank on pine nuts, you could always do toasted walnuts as well. But the pine nuts, just being Italian, goes perfect. Okay, add this in here. Now you can either take a good spatula and mix it around really well, even a food processor just to get it mixed and combined, or you can use gloves and just kind of mix it up really well, or your hands. So we're just going to mix this, combine it really well. We want this to sit in the refrigerator for 4 hours to overnight. You can see it's a little loose right now, but when that cream cheese gets a little harder, it's going to come together and form really well. If you want to make a couple small little cheese balls like this, as soon as it's nice and solid, you roll it in the pine nuts, or you take the pine nuts and you just kind of put them all around. Okay, so this, I'm going to show you how much it really makes. Could be a little bit too large for one big cheese ball, but it's up to you. Make 2 smaller ones, that's fine. If you want to get it done quicker, just kind of pat it down in the bowl like this, because the thinner it is, the colder it's going to get, the more solid it gets. So we're going to wrap this and put this in the refrigerator. Okay, while our provolone artichoke cheese bowl is in the refrigerator, let's work on our dessert one. It's a holiday cranberry cheese ball. We're going to put in about a ½ cup of walnuts, and we're going to do the same thing. We want to get them nice and toasted. That will bring out the real nut flavor of the walnuts. You can also use pecans with this. Almonds would work well too. So just kind of move them around a little bit. Give it about the same 3 to 5 minutes, but just keep an eye on them. In the meantime, let's take 1 8-ounce softened cream cheese. Why you soften it is because it's able to mix in all the other ingredients really well. This one will go a little bit quicker because it doesn't have all the liquid to it. So you could put it in the refrigerator for about an hour and finish up a little bit earlier. Okay, so we have one block of the cream cheese. You can use the full fat or the reduced fat. The fat free just really wouldn't let you really mix it really well. Okay, so we're going to take an apple. We want about 1 cup. So if you want to take a little bit like a Honeycrisp apple and a Granny Smith, just kind of give it a nice in between, a little sweetness and a little tartness, that would be perfect. I'm just going to start peeling these and then put in about 1 cup, not too much more than that, because you want the cheese ball to hold together. Okay, so we have our 2 apples here. Just make sure it comes to about 1 cup. Keep an eye on the walnuts. The walnuts nice and toasted. Look how they are. They're perfect. Just put them on a side plate. Just let them cool. You'll have plenty of time because it's going to take an hour for this cream cheese ball to come together. So I find the Honeycrisp and a combination of a little Granny Smith in there as well works out really well. And you could have it chunky, you could dice it very small, however you like it. This is perfect as a dessert or as an appetizer, but I like it more as a dessert. Something different like on, say, like a Thanksgiving or fall dinner, just to have something a little bit different. And you want to serve this with some sweet crackers or graham crackers, maybe some graham crackers with the cinnamon on it. That would work really well. Now you can change this around. You can add the cranberries inside this and then roll it into the toasted nuts. Or you could put the toasted nuts inside and then roll it in the cranberries. Let's put in about 2 tablespoons of the honey, which will sweeten this up really nicely. And then a ½ teaspoon of the ground cinnamon. Gives a lot of flavor. Like I said before, if you want to put some nuts in with this now, or some cranberries in with it, or you could just coat the outside with the cranberries and the walnuts. Really, you can mix and match however you want to do this. The nuts being still hot, I am going to add some cranberries in here, just like that. And now we're just going to mix it really good, cover this, and put it in the refrigerator for at least an hour, even up to 2 hours would be probably good. But it's not as thin as the other one. Now you could form this into the cheese ball right now if you wanted to, and I'll show you how large it really does make it. Okay, so pretty big cheese ball. You can always take this, make them into little balls, and just everybody kind of gets one. That's a different way to go about this. Again, if you want this to get really cool really quickly, just flatten it out and then form it as soon as it's nice and cold. But this is really, really tasty. So our provolone artichoke cheese ball has been in the refrigerator for about 7 hours, so it's nice and solid. Okay, so just kind of work it away from the sides and then roll it into some pine nuts. I'm going to make this into 2. Actually a little bit bigger because I want them both to be the same size. So makes a nice size. Look at all the flavor going in there between the salami, the provolone, the Kalamata olives, the roasted peppers, artichokes. Really good. So now just kind of just drop it very loosely until you get the pine nuts all around it. And this will surely be something that you will make over and over again. So I'm just going to take some more pine nuts and just kind of put it in the little areas that didn't get it. Now we're going to take the other cheese ball and roll that in the rest of the pine nuts. Just like that. And since pine nuts are so expensive, even if you were to just do the top part of it, you can get away with something like that, just to save a little, because they are pricey. About £1.50 at like a Costco is about $25. So not necessary you need the nut either. So it's really a preference. So we're just going to put this right here. And now I'm just going to chop up a little bit of Italian parsley and just kind of garnish the plate. Just going to roll it really tightly and just kind of shred it. You could always just put sprigs as well. And then just kind of turn it to give it a nice chop. And just sprinkle it right on the outside of the plate. And on the white, it really stands out really nicely. Okay, and then we have our crackers right here for this. And this, again, if you want to use breadsticks, crostinis, it all works out really, really well. So let's slide over and start on our holiday cranberry cheese ball with the apples, the cinnamon, and the honey in there. Perfect again for a dessert. Thanksgiving would be really good. Fall, any time of the year, but those are the really times of the year I would say it's really, really good. So this, nice and solid. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make 2 of them. So I am going to make 1 in the walnuts. And we have some cranberries on the inside of this as well. This was in the refrigerator a couple hours, about 2.5 hours. So the more you add to this, apples, cream cheese, cinnamon, honey, you can double the recipe very, very quickly. Okay, so just take this and just kind of drop it into the walnuts. And then if you have some people that don't like nuts, not everybody can have nuts, not everybody likes nuts. Take that, put that right here. I'm going to press a little bit more of the walnuts in here. Just don't want them to kind of drop. I want to make sure they go in here. Walnuts can be very, very pricey, so really shop around. Every supermarket has about 3 different areas where they sell nuts. It could be the baking aisle, could be over by the produce, and it could be the snack aisle. And they will vary in price, so really shop around there, okay? Okay, now we have our remaining part of the cheese ball. And what I'm going to do is put some, this is going to be nut-free, okay? So I am just going to take some dried cranberries. These are not craisins, they're just dried cranberries. Get the rest of this cheese ball like this. So you can make really 1 jumbo one or 2 really nice sized ones as well. And just kind of put it in here like this. Okay. Be a little bit messy, but put it on here. You have some on there, and then just take some cranberries like this and just place them all in here, and it makes it look really, really pretty. We have some other cheese balls that we will be doing in a different video coming up. So look for those. We've done those at a lot of the libraries. And now, again, serve this with some of those sweet crackers. Any type of, even a vanilla wafer would be perfect for this. So this is our holiday cranberry cheese ball. And we're serving them with these cookies right here. Gonna leave it right in front. And then we have our provolone artichoke cheese ball with toasted pine nuts. And again, make sure you toast the nuts, garnish the plate with some parsley or some basil. Pesto actually would be very good in here. Maybe a teaspoon to a tablespoon of pesto mixed in there. Really good. So you can change that around a lot. Don't forget sun-dried tomatoes works really well also. Okay, so I hope you will make these, and everybody, thank you for always watching, and stay well. Bye-bye.
Hold me close, a tiny dancer.